Hello and welcome to the Joy of Cooking with Michelle. I want to say hello. It's a beautiful Monday evening and we have something really fun and special for you tonight. This is an Instagram inspired recipe. I was looking the other day and something caught my eye, and it is roasted tomato and cheese pasta. So you're going to see how this is made, and you're going to see what delicious, simple ingredients it only takes to make this. So I've never made this myself. I looked up the very simple recipe, and here it is for you today. What we need for the recipe is really simple. You need a small pint of cherry tomatoes that we're going to roast. And I bought some cremini mushrooms. I have to say, I've seen two versions of this recipe. One with roasted tomatoes, with just the cherry tomatoes, and one with the tomatoes and the mushrooms. So if you're a mushroom lover, go ahead and use mushrooms. If you're not, leave it out. We need some olive oil, about a quarter of a cup of olive oil, cherry tomatoes, optional mushrooms, and some panini pasta, or maybe you like the bow tie pastas, any pasta you really enjoy. I love the panini pasta, or the rotini pasta. I found this, it's similar to a panini, it's Pannoni Rigati, and not really sure where I got this from. I think Food Basics even carries this line of pasta. The nice thing is that it's imported directly from Italy, so I love that thought. So I cooked some of this up. I didn't use the whole package. You can see I only used about half of the package. And when I cooked it, this is exactly how much it cooked. Probably over 3 cups. I started with approximately 2 cups. So it'll be interesting how much of this pasta that we use. And this is a surprise because I have put this all together so that we can have a finished product in the end. You're going to see. It's going to be a surprise. The other thing is, what I really like is some fresh herbs. I was looking for basil. What I found was some really nice looking cilantro. And I'm going to tell you a secret is that I had a nice clear glass. It's solid. And I filled it up halfway with water, cold water. And I bought this yesterday. It's so fresh looking even today. I just put it in a little bit of water, just like this, the whole stalk or bunch, and I threw it directly in the fridge when I got home. And it's just nice and perky. I love that. It's a great way to store herbs in your fridge. The joy of going to the farmer's market is that when you're buying the fresh herbs from the farmer's market, you can ask them how to best keep the fresh herbs. Because some herbs, like say basil, especially if it's growing in a pot, of course you wouldn't put that in the fridge. So asking when you're at the farmer's market, what's the best way to keep this fresh until I'm finished using it? They will tell you. Now, I have already cleaned and chopped up some cilantro. That's what I'm going to use. Let's get started. I want to show you one other thing that I have been wanting to tell you about this for a couple weeks now, and I'm so happy that it's still available in the stores. Again, I got this at Food Basics. When I shop at Food Basics, sometimes the produce isn't looking 100% as lovely it would be if I was shopping, say, at Loblaws or Farm Boy. the thing I really like is that if you're shopping seasonally, then you're probably getting more of the fresh produce. And I tend to go with an open mind and buy the fruits and vegetables that are on sale and the ones that look really delicious, really fresh, and that they're going to have a long shelf life. I have discovered these, so check this out. This is beautiful. It's on the vine, see? They're little cherry tomatoes on the vine. These are one of the best cherry tomatoes I've ever tasted when tomatoes are out of season. So of course what we're growing in our garden are going to be the best. These are called Certo. And they have several vines like that with the cherry tomatoes. Can you see that? Certo. They're from Mexico, but they're delicious. So instead of buying these cherry tomatoes all the time, I've been buying these on the vine. I love them, absolutely love them. So let me show you how this works. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to put this on here. You could probably see that really well. I have a good sized roasting dish. I'm partial to this one. My mother gave me this dish. When she was in Portugal, she bought dishes like this for everybody in the family. So her suitcase must have been pretty heavy. I think she brought 4 of them back. But they're beautiful, all handmade. So I've washed these ahead of time. The joy of these packs of cherry tomatoes are that they're perforated, so you can actually run them right under water, and that's what I did to clean them. Oh, this is perfect. So you need 1 container of cherry tomatoes, and I want to spread them out a little bit. I am going to use mushrooms because I love mushrooms. So there we go. I don't think you need very many, less than a cup. I think they're amazing with mushrooms. Like I said, if you don't like mushrooms, leave them out. So you put them in the bottom of the roasting pan. Now this has slightly less than 1/3 of a cup, so I would go with 1/4 of a cup because you don't want to overdo it. The joy is, I was just realizing this, is that when you cook the mushrooms, they get juicy. So before they brown, of course, they generate a lot of fluid. So you're going to see this is beneficial. It's going to create more fluid. This recipe is so amazing. So this is all I've done is I've just taken the cherry tomatoes. I actually cheated. I even bought the mushrooms already sliced, so all I had to do is rinse them out. Sometimes you can do that. We could do it all the time. It costs a little bit more. It depends on how much time you have. It's all about convenience. This is so cool. Watch this. So now what I've done is I've made room in the center, and I've tossed most of 1/4 of a cup of oil in the pan, and I've tossed the tomatoes and the mushrooms with it. At this point, I probably would put a little bit of salt and pepper at this point. That's what I'll do. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is there's a lot of flavored olive oils that you can get now, especially at the olive oil company. I'm using this Tuscan herb. I have a truffle, a roasted red pepper, I have a black pepper. I think this is the perfect time to be using if you have any flavored oils. Try it with this recipe. Now, this is where the original recipe has feta cheese. So you take a block of feta cheese. My feta cheese came sliced for some reason. So you take a block of feta cheese like that. You just put it in the middle. You've got your vegetables to roast on the outside, especially lots of cherry tomatoes like that. Can you see that? There you go. The cheese in the middle. And then on top, you drizzle just a little bit of, well, liberally actually, of the oil on top. So I'm using the Tuscan oil. That's all there is to this recipe. Now, what you do is you throw it in a preheated oven, 350 degrees for about 35 to 45 minutes. The way you can tell it's done is look at the tomatoes and see if they look roasted. They'll get shriveled up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the oven. Bear with me for a second. Aha, now I have started one already. I have to remind myself how warm this is going to be. So here you can see, oh, let me get my other oven mitt so I can show you. You can see how the tomatoes, see how they're roasted, the tomatoes? There's a lot of fluid in here. I think if you do use the mushroom, you're going to have more fluid, and that's going to be brilliant. In the middle is our delicious feta. Now, I did see this on Instagram where someone had used a small brie wheel, a really small brie. And I think that also would be absolutely delicious. So with the feta, what I'm doing now is I'm breaking it apart. Keep in mind, I've never done this myself either. But I think if we just break it like this up, oh, this is so good. And the feta, oh, this is gonna be amazing. And then I'm gonna toss the tomatoes in it like this a little bit. I didn't go crazy with the mushrooms, which is good, but they're gonna add a little bit of flavor. And there's some juice there from the tomatoes and the mushrooms. Whoa, this is gonna be so good. Now, I've already pre-cooked my pasta. I think you're going to need quite a bit of the pasta. And this recipe will easily feed 4 people, just so you know. There we go. I'm gonna toss it up. I love this. This is so Italian. I know I've been to Italy a couple times, and one thing I recognize in Italy is they love to be able to taste the pasta. And so often a lot of their recipes aren't heavy in tomato sauces. They're light and rich in olive oil and cheese, of course. So you have to be careful of the cheese. But I thought this recipe looked really interesting. Wow, look at that. That looks delicious. Definitely. So can you see that? See how delicious that looks? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the herbs on top. Wow, that looks amazing. See how lovely that looks? There, check that out. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. There. Doesn't that look great? I might have even a small opportunity to give it a taste. I don't often have a chance to taste our meal that we make, but today I will have an opportunity. With a little bit of foresight, I'm gonna let you know how it is. It looks delicious, so fresh with the tomatoes. Tomatoes might be really hot because they're fresh out of the oven. I want to tell you one more thing before we go. You probably will have noticed that I put a special post up about my online school called acenutrition.school. I'm so proud and very excited to share that with you. I've been working for months and months and months with a developer to create this. And for the next 2 weeks, it's on for a fabulous deal. It's half price. You save $100, it's more than half price. If you're interested in looking for a package deal, that you can do at your own rate and have access to the course for the whole year, this is your chance. You can go to acenutrition.school. I think you will love the experience at the school, and I would never use the joy of nutrition as a platform to promote anything, but I had to tell you how wonderful I think it is and how proud I am of Ace Nutrition School. So if you have an opportunity, you're talking to some people, if you could spread the word for me, I would really appreciate it. So I'm going to sign out in a minute. This is amazing. You have to try making this. You will be so happy. If you have any questions, of course, put them in the comments. You know I'll always get back to you. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next week. Bye.